Hey everybody, it's Infinite Drift and welcome back to the Survival Let's Play series. In the last episode, we built this automated wool farm, which really helps complete the look of our farmland and also gives us good wool trades with the villager that we have. In today's episode, we are going to focus on bees. Now, over the course of this series, you may have noticed we have a very large bee population in our world. And we can't forget that we've also made friends with a couple of them. Well, former friends, that is. I still haven't forgotten how you betrayed me, Tony. Anyway, despite a tragic ending to a beautiful friendship, I say it's time for us to build a beautiful space for our bee friends to live in. And get some honeycomb and honey, of course. To start things off, we're gonna head over to one of the areas where I've noticed a lot of bees. So I feel like I'll have the greatest chance of finding a bee's nest where they're most commonly hanging out. And I see quite a few bees in this area here, so there's gotta be a couple nests around. Oh, there's one right here. Perfect. I have silk touch on this axe. I'm gonna just grab it anyway, and we'll pick this back up. So I spent a little bit of time exploring the islands to find as many bees nests as I could find. Hey, another bee's nest. Honestly, why not? Oh, hello, wandering trader. Anything good to trade? Pufferfish. I don't know if that's useful, actually. Ooh, sea pickles. For once, I am going to spare this wandering trader because I want those sea pickles. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back with emeralds in a second. Emeralds acquired, and I actually really hope that he's still there for once. Hello? Alright, I'm gonna take a couple of these sea pickles, and you know what? A couple of pufferfish. I don't know what we're gonna use those deadly fish for, but you know what? We'll figure something out. Wow, a pleasant exchange with the wandering trader for once. Alright, so in my travels, I actually managed to find 3 bee nests, which is great because that gives us a really good start on the amount of bees needed for our farm. And it's also really great because I want to use some of these as decoration as well. So now the trick is going to be finding the perfect spot for where our bee farm is going to go. And honestly, I am thinking right over here across the way from where our cactus farm is. Right in that spot where that floating chunk of land is. Which means we've got to begin things by clearing that off. I don't know why I so adamantly decided I needed this spot, but I'm committed now, so there's no going back. Uh-oh, I seem to have put myself into a bit of a predicament here. All's well. Island number 2, let's go. This is so satisfying. So once the floating islands had been cleared out, I took a little bit of extra time to chop down some trees and terraform some land, just to give myself a little bit of extra space to work with. And you can see just how well this greenhouse is going to connect to everything else. We can build a bridge going over to the cactus farm, and if we take some time to clear out some stuff going that way, it'll connect to our farms. So the last thing we need to do before we can begin building is go on a quick resource run. Because honestly, for the last build we did, I was kind of running off of resources we already had. And it's safe to say that our supply is a little bit depleted now. So since spruce is pretty much a necessity for all of my builds, I started off by traveling to a mega taiga that I found by my base, where I spent some time filling up my inventory with spruce logs. What is this giant cave? It's a lush cave. Yo, this one's even closer to my house than the other one. So naturally, I had to go down and look at this lush cave, because why not? Ooh, this is spooky. Grab this iron, and I'm gonna grab as much of this coal as I possibly can because I'm gonna need a lot of glass. This doesn't really lead to anything, probably unless I dig down, but maybe there's something on the other side right here. Let's take a look. Oh geez. No, I forgot a shield. I wasn't even thinking, honestly. Where'd you come from? That's the question. Oh no, another one of you. Go away. Honestly, I'm sure there's so many more entrances to this lush cave. We'll definitely find one. Whoa. Oh yeah, this looks like a proper entrance. No. There's a lot happening right now. I am so not prepared for this. Whew, okay. I honestly did not anticipate I would be coming into a cave for some reason, but it's probably a good thing because I have been running a little bit low on iron and coal, and you can't simply walk past a lush cave and not go in. Absolutely not. Oh no. Okay, the axolotls are fine. Oh no. Wow, there's a really good amount of resources in this cave. Yeah, there seems to be a lot going on here. It looks like there's almost like 2 geodes on top of each other. Oh my gosh, there's so many mobs around here. It's fine, I'll play it cool. No. Go away. That creeper is trying to get to me, but you know what? He's struggling. Oh no, he's breaking free. Can I... That seemed to work. I feel like this is multiple geodes connected into one or something. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Very cool, very cool. All right, this cave is huge and seems to go on forever. And as much as I'd like to keep exploring, we came here for a few specific things, so I better get back on task. Oh gosh, oh no. It was nighttime while I was down there, and now there are a ton of mobs everywhere. I see you. All right, the only thing I really need left in this area is sand. And thankfully, there's this huge shoreline that I can grab from. All right, I'm just gonna fill my inventory up with as much as I can because this is gonna be kind of like a greenhouse style build. So we're gonna need a ton of glass for this. It's like butter, baby. And anything that we don't use for this build, I can trade with my villagers. All right, I think I have more than enough sand and enough spruce in my inventory. So I think we're good to head on back. And one last pit stop behind our house so we can grab some lily of the valley so we can stain our glass. And just like that, we're back at our base. That was a pretty successful resource run. It's been a while since we've done that. And now for the most fun activity of the day, waiting patiently for glass to burn. I'm bored. Alright, the glass is pretty much done, and I think all of these stacks should be more than enough. Now all we need is some white dye, and we can make ourselves some white stained glass. I think 4 stacks should be enough, and we'll leave some plain as well. Now all we need is a couple more observers, some dispensers, and last but not least, a couple of hoppers. So with all of that stuff in our inventory, we're ready to begin building. So I started things off by placing a 13x9 footprint made of stripped spruce. After that, I brought the support beams up by 5 blocks on every corner. And I also placed some support beams in the middle of each wall as well. After that, I moved on to the roof, where I built it up using stairs, and after 2 blocks high, I switched to slabs. Until I hit that part where I placed a trapdoor as a stair block, until I reached the middle where I went 3 slabs high. Once that was done, I completed the exact same design on the other side of the build. I then connected the roof together using some stairs, and I also added the same roof design to the middle of the build. So this is basically what our structure is looking like so far. And all we really have left is to add a couple beams across the top like this, and now we just have to fill it in with some glass. So the sides I'm gonna fill in between the pillars, but for the front of the build, I want the glass sitting 1 block back. So I'm just gonna fill in the rest of the windows with glass, except I'm gonna leave the back end for now because this is where the bee farm is going to go, and we're gonna have to fill in some components here. So once the sides were complete, I began filling in the roof with glass as well. I then finished things off by adding a small circular entrance to the side of the build, just to give it a little bit more shape and interest. Alright, so this is the general shape that we have for the build right now, and it's looking pretty good. The roof right here is looking really sprucey. There's just a little bit too much for my liking. However, that is only temporary because I'm going to be replacing a lot of those blocks with honeycomb and honey blocks and other things like that, just to fit in theme with the whole bee thing that we have going on. But in order to have access to the materials that we need to decorate, we need to set up our farm. And I forgot I need honeycomb in order to craft bees nests, so I'm quickly just going to place down a hive here, and I'm gonna gather as much honeycomb as I can. Come on, little bees. Oh no, 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 no. I'm very impatient, so I'm gonna set up these as well. All right, 3 beehives should be enough to start with. I would like 5, but we'll make the other 2 when we build the farm and get more honeycomb. All right, let's see if I can get some of these bees into the beehive. Technically, it doesn't matter which block you use for the farm. However, bees nests are a lot harder to find, so I'm just gonna craft a bunch of bee boxes because I want them all to look the same when they're in the farm. I don't really want a mix of the 2. That's just me being picky. All right, if I break that, will they go into this box? What if I give you some flowers? Oh, a little baby bee! So cute! Oh my gosh, I love this. Now all I need you to do is go into this bee box. Yeah, here we go. Perfect. So we're gonna start things off by popping out 5 blocks of spruce at the back of this build and placing 5 dispensers along here. And on top of them, I'm gonna place some spruce blocks. And the bee boxes go in front of the dispensers. However, I'm just using spruce blocks as a placeholder so I can throw down some observers over top. This bee farm is a design done by Mysticat, by the way, and it's a really quick and simple, easy to follow tutorial. I'll link it in the description because I definitely recommend checking it out if you're looking to build a bee farm. So after that, I added in the rest of the components needed in order to make the bee farm work. So now I think I just need to replace some of this spruce with beehives and honestly just hope that the bees do not escape. And let's just pop in some shears into these dispensers. So basically what happens is as soon as there's honeycomb in these beehives, it automatically gets sheared by the dispenser, it pops off onto this soil, and the hoppers deliver it into that chest. So now that we have 3 hives set up, all we have to do is wait to see if this farm is working. Oh, there we go. See if it fed into our chest. And it did. So our bee farm is up and running. All right, so I got more honeycomb, which means that we have 2 more hives needed to complete this thing. So let's put these in real quickly, seal this off. So after that, I brought out the old bees nests to see if I could get them into the farm. And it was surprisingly very easy because they just gravitated towards the flowers in the farm. And now all I have to do is fill up these dispensers with shears. And I'm gonna try glass bottles on the last one so I could collect some honey. However, one thing to keep in mind for the honey collector is that sometimes it just ends up dispensing empty glass bottles. You can see here it went through the system without collecting any honey, so it's probably best to fill that one up with as many glass bottles as you can so you have the chance of collecting the honey. And we've already got 6 honeycomb, which is awesome, which means that this farm is working quite nicely. So now that the actual farm is complete and it works great, all we have left to do is add details to the build. So I'm going to start by adding a little bit more shape and interest to the actual structure of the build. And I'm just going to add some spruce stairs to the side here with a trapdoor in between. So adding those stairs really helps round off the top of the window and just gives a little bit more shape to the build. Next, I'm just going to place stairs all the way around the front of the build, even going into here and on the other side. I think I'm going to use spruce trapdoors for now to cover up the dispensers, just so we have easy access to them in case we need to replace anything. Then we're going to just cover this back up, and I'm going to place a trapdoor on the bottom right here so we have easy access to our chest, and I'll bring the stairs around this corner as well. This ledge is looking nice, however, I think I'm going to add stairs to it because it just adds that little bit of extra detail to the front of the build. And we're just going to go all the way around with these. Signs kind of require a lot of resources, but I really like the look of them when you use them on ledges and stuff like that. I keep accidentally typing in aw. You just stop. Now to add a little bit of extra detail to the roof, I'm just going to add trapdoors on some of the blocks and buttons as well. And for the middle part right here, I want to add a cool detail to the front of the build. So I'm going to use spruce logs here. Then I'm going to place a fence here. Then I'm going to place a chain on the fence with a bee nest underneath and a trapdoor resting on the bottom. There, and I think that's a really cool detail to kind of signify that this is a bee farm that we have here. So to kind of add more to the whole bee theme, I'm going to add a couple of bee boxes outside, and I'm going to put some tripwire hooks on the front of them to make it look like they have taps attached to them. So after that, I added a bunch of flowers and greenery to the build because after all, it is a greenhouse, but it also really fits in theme with the bees and helps really add a lot more vibrance and life to this build. I'm also going to add these 2 glow item frames and put a honeycomb and honey in here. Also, I haven't really used the glow item frame much, but it looks so cool. I'm definitely going to have to start using it more often. All right, we have the basic details laid out for this build, and you can really see how it's starting to come together. Even these few basic items such as the beehive, all of the flowers and greenery, you can see how these few basic items really just add more character and detail to the build. So with all of these details in place, let's head into a quick time lapse to finish off the rest of the detailing and landscaping around the build. Let's go. Alright, and here we have our finished bee farm. And this is looking so good. Honestly, the build itself is looking great, but I am also so happy with the pathing. because adding those two bridges going in different directions has really connected the base even more than it was before. And everything is just starting to come together so well. Alright, so let's run through this build really quickly. So I know I said I was going to add some B blocks to the roof of the entrance. However, as I was kind of detailing it out and stuff like that, I felt that it just didn't really need it anymore. I just feel like once I added in a lot more detail around the build itself, that the roof ended up just kind of blending in nicely and complementing all of the other pieces around it. So I have a bunch of bees who are kind of like occupying the nests out here, which is also pretty awesome. Honestly, the more the merrier. I love the bees. I think they're so cute. And it makes me happy to see them flying around and enjoying the farm as well. Alright, so for the inside of the farm, I basically just decorated it with more bee-related blocks. We've got some honeycomb, some honey blocks, a beehive, which actually there is a random bee right here that kind of made its way in. I don't know how, but honestly, I love it. It just adds more life and character to this build, and also I can harvest more honeycomb, which is great. So yeah, and then you make your way into the main portion of the build where the farm is kind of resting in the middle back of it, and I just decorated it with a bunch of barrels with taps, different types of greenery, lots of flowers. I also made the floor a mix of stone and coarse dirt. I just wanted to keep the entire theme of the build like quite literally bee related, so I wanted to incorporate a lot of flowers for them and just make it like as lush and overgrown as I possibly could. And I really love how it turned out. Even the redstone farm itself is honestly very pretty to look at. It's a really nice design for a farm, and I love that you can see the bees floating around and just kind of hanging out and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the build. It's got like a super cute, cozy, overgrown vibe to it, and I love it. And I also love that the bees in this area have actually been utilizing the nests and the hives that I put out. I wasn't sure if they would, but they ended up doing that, and it just adds so much more atmosphere to this area and makes it feel so much more alive. Alright everybody, I think that is gonna be it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the build in the comments, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!